Hi everyone, my name is Ankita Jain. I have secured All India Rank 3. I have done BTech in Computer Science from Delhi Technological University. I have worked in private sector and then I worked in DRDO as a scientist. And at present I am working in Indian Audit and Account Service and presently posted in Mumbai. My family consists of my father, he's a businessman, my mother, she is a housewife, my brother, he's a manager in KPMG, and my sister-in-law, she is also a housewife. My sister, who has secured All India Rank 21 this time, and my husband, who is IPS of 2019 batch. This is my background. So I come from this background. I started my preparation in 2017 and it has been a very long journey. My preparation consists of spending 2 years dedicatedly for the preparation, and after that, after joining services, I am preparing along with the services. And during this course, I felt that a lot of preparation can be done online. I have referred basic books, which is recommended by most of the toppers.
I am from Delhi. I have graduated from Sri Ram College of Commerce in 2019 and I enrolled in the Dreams 400 scholarship of Lukman IAS, in which I studied GS in 2019-2020 batch, and I studied all the subjects, polity, economics, ethics, and the faculty here, Ansari sir and Lakshmikant sir and other teachers as well. They are all very good and they are very motivating as well as encouraging. So yes, it has been a very important part of my UPSC journey, being associated with Lukman IAS, and rest is that thank you so much. I would thank Ansari sir for his constant guidance, starting from the prelims phase till the interview phase, and that's it from my side. Thank you.
And it will be on this channel also. And I have referred online test series, online discussions with my friends, since it was the year of COVID pandemic. So this year I focused more on online resources and whatever could be done within one room, whatever preparation we can do in one room, I have focused on that. And I have realized that note making is a very important aspect of this preparation. After saying that, I would like to mention my learnings during this course. So I have cleared prelims twice and have failed twice. So my failures, when I tried to analyze, I realized that there were certain things in each of the stage, be it prelims, mains or interview. I have learned a lot. So first, most important is the positive attitude. Whenever I feel that I cannot do it, or whenever I had self-doubt, I failed. So what were my learnings in prelims were, this time I focused more on understanding the things. Earlier I was trying to just memorize things, somehow memorize all the current affairs, but this time I did it differently. I tried to understand the concepts, and this has actually helped me in the examination. There were some long questions where they had explained the concept and not the term, and in the option they had asked what is being explained in the question. So this is how understanding the concept has helped me in prelims. And one more thing I did this time was, whenever I was giving my mock test, I analyzed that mock test, whatever my mistakes, I noted them down. I noted them down on a paper. For every mock test, I prepared 2-3 pages on which I only mentioned my mistakes. So whenever I was doing another test, I used to revise those mistakes, and before going into the examination, I revised those mistakes around 8 to 10 times. So I was quite sure that I won't repeat these mistakes at least. And I made some notes for prelims and I revised those notes quite often. And in the last 10 days before the preliminary examination, I tried to revise them at least twice. For mains, largely my main strategy was same as it was last year. I will explain it in detail, but some of the improvements which I did was improvement in the essay writing. I had my mentor who guided me how I can improve essay writing, and he mentioned that introduction should be your focus, and the essay should be developed logically. And then in the answer writings, I focused a lot in presentation and understanding the concepts, understanding what is being asked in the question, what are the different aspects of the question, and what needs to be answered. And there also I mentioned a lot of dimensions that makes an answer very holistic. And actually in this 4 years I did a lot of answer writing practice. Even if I was not doing even when I was not doing any test series, I used to do answer writing. And in fact I have done a lot of test series for mains answer writing, including the optional. For optional, I think I have taken test series at least 4 times. Now coming to interview, I have focused this time on the structure of the answer, how I am giving my answer. So whenever some question is asked, it is very important to understand that question, what the intent of the interviewer. So there I realized that this answer, I have a lot of content about this answer, but I should answer it like this, in the way the person has asked. And then I picked some keywords from the questions, and I tried to incorporate them in my answer during the interview. And this time another thing which I think has helped me was the confidence. I went with the confidence that I'll do good, and I'll do it with no guilt and no fear and no regret. Even if I don't know anything, if I can't answer many questions, I'll say it's okay, I don't know, I'll read more about it. That's very human thing. You don't it is very difficult to know everything, so it is fine if you don't know 2 or 3 questions in interview. Now coming to the detailed strategy of mains, I'll take it exam wise. For essay, I have already mentioned the introduction is very important and it should be logically developed. It is not necessary to write quotes in every essay or write it it is not necessary to write in both the essays. You can write quote in one essay, or you can in fact skip the quotes, but your essay should be very logical and it should have some content. Now coming to the GS1. In GS1 I tried to cover all aspects. For example, if some question is asked about women, then I tried to see whether this question can be answered from different aspects, whether there is some historical reason, whether there is some cultural reason, economic aspect, some political aspects. In that way I tried to answer the GS1 questions and society related questions. Coming to GS2 questions, in that I focused a lot on facts and committees. It is very important to write both the sides in GS2 and also in GS3. GS2 and GS3 are the dynamic portions. In these papers you should focus on facts, committees, some new current affairs, new developments, and also you should try to make your conclusions and your introductions catchy. They should attract. Introduction should tell the examiner that you know the answer, and conclusion should be little different. It should say that you have done something different in the conclusion. Sometimes I used to close my conclusions with some scheme or some catchy phrases from the news. Like that I used to close my answers. And in GS4 I worked a lot on my introductions. In my introductions I made it after reading your introduction in GS4, the examiner should feel that you have a lot of content in this particular question, in this particular subject. And then while answering them I used to include a lot of examples, and then I tried to make it I tried to cover it from many aspects and make it very comprehensive. And one thing, in GS1 and GS2 and GS3 I tried to answer mostly in points, but in GS4 I didn't restrict myself. I focused both on more points and as well as on paras. So whatever was logical, what was the demand of the question, I answered those questions accordingly. And in mains, I think I have said this earlier also, making notes is very important. How many times you are able to revise depends on how concise and how crisp your notes are. So make them very crisp, so that even just before a day before the examination you are able to at least revise the facts. So there's one little strategy. I used to note down facts separately, and then I used to revise facts just before the examination. And you can also prepare short notes for the revision in the end. Now how some people ask me that I have managed my time very efficiently since I was in training, and now since I was posted also, then also I have prepared for the examination and cleared it. So my strategy is something which has suited me. I would say that you also should develop your strategy according to yourself. I have for 2 years I have dedicated my 2 years just for this. So if I say that in this after studying only for 4-5 hours I am able to secure rank 3, it would be wrong. My all 4 years have supported me, and I used to actually divide my time. For training time I had given some dedicated time for training, and then there was some time for my study, and these were like mutually exclusive, no overlapping of these time. And then I had dedicated some time for my own development, for my own care, like exercise and all. This I used to do because it is a long journey and you cannot neglect your own health. And apart from that, you should also believe in yourself. But if you think that you cannot do it, it is difficult. I know it is difficult, but in the end you have to believe in yourself. Now I am asked to list some resources, online resources. So actually there are a lot of resources online. Some would be able to make use of resources which are available in their own language more efficiently, and some would be able to utilize the resources which can explain the concepts and things in more depth. So choose the resources according to your own strength and weaknesses, but restrict them. Don't follow all the resources whatever is available online. Just for example, if you are following some YouTube channel, stick to one channel, at max 2 channel. That's enough. It is important to limit, and also whatever you are studying, you need to revise them more often. And apart from that, you can utilize new software such as Evernote or your OneNote to prepare your online resources, which will make it easier to carry wherever you go and also to share. And you can do online discussions, telephonic discussions also, especially during the COVID pandemic. Now some people ask that when should we start answer writing? I'll say start quite early. So if you are like 3-4 months into the preparation, then start trying to answer the questions. First, what you have to do is read the question, try to understand from which area the question is being asked. Then try to divide the question, how many aspects are asked, and then in those aspects try to answer those aspects quite holistically. If there are 3 parts of one question, then try to give 4-5 points in each part. So that will make your answer very comprehensive and holistic. And also your answer should be very logical. Some people say that whether we should go after diagrams or whether we should stick to the flow charts and all. I have not done a lot of diagrams in my answers, because I feel that when I'm writing logically, it becomes difficult to break whole momentum and go for drawing the diagrams. Wherever it was required, where I felt that I can express more by making a diagram, there I made diagram, but there was no hard and fast rule for me to make a diagram. Next, I would like to talk about what should you do and what you should not do. So first and foremost, you should do notes making is essential for your prelims, interviews and mains. For everything, note making is very important. I cannot stress it enough. You will get notes in the market, from toppers also you will get, but if you are making your own notes, that would be very helpful. Sometimes I referred notes made by my friends or my family, but I did one thing. From those notes I used to make crisp or the concise notes also, so that I can revise them more often. And you should be very disciplined whenever you are if you don't want to study, please don't study. But when you are saying that I want to study, then give your whole heart and soul to that time. Your study should be very qualitative. If you are giving 10 hours a day for 6 days, then it is okay to take a break on the 7th day. But if you are not studying for 6 days, then 7th day break doesn't make sense. So you should be very disciplined in your approach and plan everything beforehand. So I used to make long-term goals, and then I used to break them in short-term. I give you an example. Suppose I have to cover history, and I feel that I should finish history in 1 month. Then I'll break it in parts, like ancient history I'll do in 1 week, then modern history in 1 week, and then in that 1 week I'll also divide that this portion of modern history I'll do in 2 days, this portion in 3 days. Like that I used to divide my work. That will take off a lot of pressure from your head, and it will also streamline your preparation. Don'ts are you should not refer too many resources. Limit them and read them more often. Then self-doubt is a big no-no. Please don't doubt yourself. There are many people who are sometimes we say that I'm just an average person, but getting a perfect average is will take you to the good rank in UPSC. So being an average is actually an asset if you feel you are an average, but do it very religiously. Put your heart and soul, and do a lot of hard work. There is no escape from hard work. And don't be afraid of mock tests. Even if you are getting low marks, it is okay. Just focus on your weakness. Sometimes we get low marks in the exams, in the mock test, and we feel that the result will be same in the exams, which is not the case, because questions will be different. Your mindset will be different. There will be a lot of gap between when you have given your last mock test and when you are taking your exam. So assess yourself. Don't refrain from assessing yourself. It will let you know where you exactly stand, and you should discuss among yourselves how you are seeing one issue, but avoid too much discussion over one issue. If you have good fair knowledge of what are the positive and what are the negatives in a particular topic or a current affair going on, then that is fine. 5 points on both the sides are good. That discussion is enough. Going after collecting 15 points in positive and 15 points in negatives won't fetch you more marks. Won't be so much, won't give you that much output. Always take into account the input output ratio. Whatever you are putting in, it should give you corresponding and proportionate output. And being positive and is very necessary. It is a very long journey, and you have to be very positive. Adopt some good habits, invest in your hobbies, and read something, do something meaningful, be in connection with your family, spend some time with them. When I was away from my home, I used to spend at least half an hour talking to my family and half an hour sometimes talking to my friends. So that is also very important. We sometimes don't realize this thing, but this is some aspect which will help you subconsciously. You should give mock test. I have taken many mock tests, and I have taken many mock interviews. This time I refrained from taking too many mock interviews because I felt that I was not getting the kind of feedback that will help me. And also I was I was okay with my strategy. So this time I took around 4-5 mock interviews, and I had little time. I had time constraints also. And uh, mock test for mains I couldn't take more this time because I was affected with COVID. But I have taken a lot of mock tests earlier in the past 3 years. In my past 3 attempts, I have done a lot of practice of mock test and mock for both prelims and for mains. So please don't refrain from them. Mm. And do I have presence on social media? I don't have much presence on social media, but yes, now I will be joining. Uh, I have presence on some platforms which I felt would be helpful for me. For instance, I am on WhatsApp because sometimes we share our notes through WhatsApp, and sometimes we discuss through WhatsApp. So this is the social media presence. This was my social media presence, but yes, I will be joining more platforms soon. One more question which many people ask is, should we join coaching classes? I think that is totally your call. You should assess what are your abilities and what is your requirement. I took coaching classes for 2 subjects. I took for GS2, and then because it was very technical, and that time when I started, I had little idea about it. I am from a science background. And then I took classes for philosophy optional because I had it was very new subject for me. By GS2 I mean polity and governance and IR. I took classes for this and for philosophy. But I have seen people who don't take classes and they are able to do it. My own sister, she has not taken any classes. She has secured rank 21. That is because she had someone to tell what you should do. She had notes, she had everything. So if you are if you can understand concepts on your own, and if you are access to these notes, and you have someone to guide you. I had my husband also to guide me. So they and my friends, and these people guided me which books you should read, and how you should approach them. So if you have someone who can tell you about this, if you can figure out how to do it, then you may go ahead with the self study. And self study is something I think is very helpful. Everyone have to do it. Even if you are doing coaching classes, you will end up doing self study to a great extent, because you cannot escape from it. Even for my optional, I have taken classes. They were very comprehensive, but sometimes some new development comes, some new question comes. For that you will have to make some notes on your own. So nobody will spoon feed you. So keep in mind that if you are taking classes, coaching classes, you will have to do some kind of self study. And my suggestion is that you should take coaching classes if it is required. And if it is not required, if you can do it on your own, then please go ahead with the self study. My last advice to you would be to stay positive, believe in yourself. If you have chosen to work in this particular field, to take this exam, then do it with whole heart. If you do not want to do it, if you feel that it is a burden that I have to study for 8 or 9 hours, then please don't do it. Just try to figure out what inspires you, what is your passion, and what you really want to do, and then invest your time in that. Every profession is good. Every profession can fetch you satisfaction. So choose accordingly. What is your dream? You should choose that, and you should invest your energy, hard work and finances in that. Then next advice I will give you is don't stop believing in yourself. There will be a lot of times you will face failures. Just get through it. Stay strong. When things get tougher, something like that is there. I'm not able to recall properly, but tough people should get going. You have to be tougher than the tough times. And keep working on your weakness in whichever field you are, not just UPSC, whichever exam you are taking. I have taken GATE exam also. In that I secured All India rank 1. My broad strategy was this only in that exam. You should figure out what are your weaknesses, work on them, be thorough with them, do not repeat your mistakes. That will make you better than you were yesterday. Then I'll say there are many strategies being floated over the media from the toppers. You will find my strategy also, you will find strategy from other toppers also. Listen to them, try to see why they have done this way, and what are the aspects which are useful to you. Modify those strategies according to your needs and then work on them. If that strategy suits you completely, then you can adopt it completely. And in the end, I'd like to say that I'm very thankful to God, to my parents, my friends and family, and my support system, which has helped me through all thick and thin. I wish that you will also find such support systems in your life, and stay in touch. Let me know if you have some questions. I'll be happy to be in touch with you, and thanks for watching. Wish you all the very best. Have a nice day, everyone.